I know when you start in Microsoft, or for that matter in any other company, you start as a dev, and then you become dev lead, and then you become dev manager. There we call it M1, M2, M3, and M4. So at every level, you have to change yourself a little bit. Uh, you become dev lead because you are one of the best dev in the team. That's why you become dev lead. So I would like to hear a couple of advice from you, because you've been through all this journey. One or two advice for a new dev lead who have become just new today, like yesterday they were promoted to be a lead, and for people who are becoming dev manager M2. So what are a few things they should follow, or some advice for them?
So that's a very good question, and I mentor a lot of people, and very smart people actually make certain mistakes, and I had my fair own share of those mistakes. It is a reward and also humbling when your manager comes to you and say, and I said, hey, we want you to be a lead, we want you to manage these 5-6 people, and you own this product. It's a very proud moment, and the reality kicks in probably a week or two from then. Mm-hmm. For me, it was a very big learning moment, because I always was able to produce quite a lot as my individual contribution. I can work maybe 12, 14 hours, and I churn a lot of code in a particular way, in the way I think, and that was what development for me was. But when you are working with more number of people, there are different perspectives people are going to bring. There's a different way that they're going to think about the problem space, and they're trying to realize the same vision that you want to realize. The paths will be different. As a lead, first it will take some time for you to understand that you have pretty much outsourced your success to these 5-6 people who are working with you, because never think that if you as a developer in a week you're able to churn out 1,000 lines of code, and now your team is churning out 5,000 lines of code. These 5,000 lines of code are going to be, you're going to have the same comfort level if you produce those 5,000 lines of code. That doesn't happen. And I used to do it at a very early of leadership is when a junior developer wrote some code, I code reviewed in the night, I'm not happy, I used to rewrite the code. And I got to a point where I was doing probably 2.5, 3 people's worth of work, but the problem started when the code went into production. Nobody was taking ownership of what the code they wrote, because if any bug happened or any live set event happened, I used to get calls saying that, Jay, remember you wrote this code. So that's when I realized it is not about finishing the task. It is able to finish the task and to grow the people so that the people can work in a path that we as a team are comfortable with. Okay, and trying to understand the diversity, trying to understand how you can bring these multiple perspectives as an energy, as a 1 + 1 = 3 or a 5 or something of that sort, rather than thinking that I can now own the 5 developers worth of code and I will do it, because it's humanly not possible. Okay, right. So as a M1, that's what my first advice is going to be, is first try to learn how you can bring the same energy in your developers. M1, I look at it is that previously you were responsible for X number of lines of code. Now, if you have 5 people, you have 5x lines of code. Okay, that's how you need to look at it. But you can only, that 5x is going to be successful only thing that the team gels together. Team has a trust between them. They know when to reach out when they're not able to do certain tasks, so that you can teach them. They always say that they teach people to fish rather than you fish for them.
Right.
So that is the concept that someone needs to adapt, so that the team becomes better over the time, so that you can focus on higher value things.
True. So one question I have, you said